Hey guys, Mike was Gettin Greasy Garage. Back here on the Fairlane. Yes, the firewall is just about completed. Got that one little patch of filler to sand. Got everything filled in, welded in, sanded smooth, ready for some primer. So, as you'll notice, I got an inner fender panel up here. That's so I can figure out where my wiring harness plug is going to come through the firewall. I'm routing brake lines. I've been working on stainless brake lines. As you can see there, they're all bent, flared, bent, routed. And I broke a tap so I can put the little line clamps on them, mount them in. And got brake pads finally. And you know, like anything old or something that was a project for somebody else, at one point they upgraded this car with a disc brake kit. I did find the same disc brake kit at Speedway, and I was quite surprised. You don't get a lot for $500. But nonetheless, I digress. So whoever put this together originally didn't read the instructions. I know, I'm like everybody else. Hell with the directions, I'll read them later. Well, in this case, when flip this over. So when I put the caliper brackets on, they neglected, is this one? No, I did the other side. Anyway, they neglected to read the directions, and you have to grind. There's a boss under here, a bolt boss. You have to grind that down and fit that bracket. Otherwise, that bracket doesn't run parallel with the rotor surface. And it's extremely difficult to get the rotors on, or I mean the calipers on the rotors. Now I should have caught it when I took everything apart. The brake pads were worn really strange. I already threw them away. New brake pads showed up via one of them delivery trucks today. And went to put them on, and well, you know, they just wouldn't slide over the rotors. Rotors are true. I get to looking and measuring, and the brackets are not parallel to the rotor surface. So, which meant tear everything apart, do a lot of measuring and figuring where I needed to remove some metal on the spindle, and it's not much. I'm not real keen on grinding on spindles or steering or anything like that, but in this case you don't have a lot of choice. You know, this is a 59 Ford, there's not a lot of options for spindles. So anyway, well, there's the other rotors, driver's side. Let me grab it here. Okay. So, sorry about that. You know, running a camera and trying to lift stuff one-handed can be difficult. So, that bracket bolts from here to here. And, if you can kind of see there, how much material I had to remove. Oh, there's the light. There it is. A little better view. To make that bracket parallel with that surface, which in turn makes it parallel with the rotor. I used a grinder to take some of it down, but in the end it was just easier. I'm not lucky and have a mill in my shop, which would be the best way. So I used a mill file, a mill bastard file. And I learned from an old timer years ago all kinds of good file techniques, so I got it in there and got it flat and true. Got a little bit more touch up to do, and then it's complete. But I already had the bracket on there. I used the calipers. Everything measures out to spec now. So I'm going to put some paint on this again. That's the worst thing, is I didn't discover this till everything was painted up and assembled. And so in screwing with it, you know, paint gets scratched, chipped, whatever. So I have to repaint everything, both sides, and then I'll be able to rehang it on the car, because I had everything on there ready to go. New brake lines showed up today. I thought, cool, slap the pads in, put the brake lines on. I'm in the process of finishing up the lower control arms. Remember, I had to weld airbag cups in there, do some cutting. Of course, you know, anytime you go to weld something and the argon tank is empty, so I got to make a trip to town. I live out in the country, out in the sticks, so I have to make a trip to town to get more argon so I can complete that part of it. And then this front suspension will be done. Like I said, I stuck this inner fender panel on here just to get an idea of where things are. Got my real fancy caliper bracket and proportion valve. All my lines are bent and run. They look good. I'm really happy with how that turned out. Now I can figure out where my lines are going to come through. And now a reason for putting this stuff on this side of the frame is, one, I'm running 3-inch exhaust on this car. There's not a lot of room on the inside. The power steering box is in the way. And I like a very clean engine bay. Obviously, clean firewall. There will be no visible wiring. No brake lines, no hoses. I hide everything. Just gives it a real super clean look, sanitary. And so that's why I put the proportioning valve there. Everything's sealed. It's not going to hurt anything to have it there. This will be a nice weather car. It's not going to be out in the rain and the snow and the what have you. We don't salt the roads up here, so it's not a concern. Besides that, it's stainless lines anyway. So my shop is a pigsty. You know, getting tools and doing other projects. So you can see nice bends. Now I'm going to run that right up along the frame, right there, and I've got the little hold down clamps, and then it'll run right underneath that front cross member edge. Very happy with how that turned out. And here's where the other brake line hooks up to. I got the steering link in. All of that's figured out and adjusted. I recommend, if you don't have a factory service manual for these old, whatever old car you're working on, get one. And when it comes to the steering, you know, it's different than 60s, 70s, 80s stuff that we're used to dealing with in this hobby. I also got these done, my bulkheads for the front airbag lines. I'm running them down the center of the frame. The frame is boxed all the way back, so that fitting swivels. Turn you guys to this one here. You can see that swivel, so I can aim it wherever I want. But the airline will hook into the other side and then run down the frame rail to the rear, where I'll add another set of bulkhead fittings, and they'll come out and then run into the valves and the air tank and all that stuff mounted in the trunk. I'm very happy how that turned out. It'll be clear of the exhaust. It won't be a heat issue. Airlines will actually run from that hole right there where the shock used to come through. and then I'll run it down here and plug it in there. So a lot of little things getting done. You know, it's the tedious details. I threw some paint on these inner fender panels, did a bunch of body work to them. The core support, got it painted and done. Again, it was rusted out where the battery box was. And I've looked around everywhere and everybody says either fix the core support you have or live with the rust holes. So I went ahead and cut out a lot of metal, bent a lot of metal to the right size and shape, fit it, welded it, a little bit of Bondo, and getting things painted. Now I've still got that inner fender panel left to do. That if I could get back in the shop full time. So I don't know, a lot of this stuff's dusty, but when you're working in a limited space, that's what happens. But I bed lined all of this. I like the bed liner because it's more durable than that rubberized undercoating stuff. And it looks, to me, it looks a lot cleaner. I've tried a few different brands of that rubberized undercoating, and it's like it never dries. Bed liner dries, it's hard as a rock. This will make it really nice, so if he does have to drive this car in the rain, it gets a little bit of dirty up in there, you can take the garden hose and rinse everything out, and it should just fall right off. For when he wants to clean it up and go to a show. So yeah, that's where we're at. Brake lines, messing around with spindles, or having to revisit a lot of things I didn't intend to. So I do want to give a shout out to somebody while I'm thinking about it. Ed Gosselin Farms. If you don't know anything about farming, like cattle, raising cows, cattle stuff, I don't know the terminology for all that, but watch it. You go watch his channel, puts a video up pretty much every day. You got the cutest damn baby calves you've ever seen. Watching his daughter, well, the one for sure I've seen in the video, those cows, like, totally respond to her. It's the most amazing thing. Watching Ed and his family with these animals is truly, truly amazing. And they're just, my experience, cows are dumb as a rock. Well, they might be, but watching Ed and his family work with them, it's kind of a mind blower sometimes. So anyway, Ed had in a conversation told me that if I was messing with stainless steel brake lines, that I may want to anneal the ends before I try to flare them. And I had the old school flaring tool with the butterfly clamp and the thing, and yeah, they've been around forever. If you know what a flaring tool is, you know what I'm talking about. Horrible experience with that thing. Now the annealing that Ed recommended did work. I did exactly as he said, and it made the material softer because stainless is hard. But the flaring tool I have, that flaring tool is garbage. A video I'm going to post is the new flaring tool I bought, and this thing's a beaut. So I will post that video up probably tomorrow. Well, maybe right after this one, I don't know. And show you guys what I bought and show you guys how it works. And if you're messing with brake lines, that's definitely the one you want. So I'll touch more on that in that video. But again, shout out to Ed. Thank you for the advice. And go watch Ed's channel. Subscribe, like, share. Tell him I sent you. A good guy, good family. And you know, all of our farmers in this country need any and all support they can get. That's where they're the ones that raise our food. And I, for one, like beef. So, anyway, guys, that's where we're at on the Fairlane at the moment. Like I say, I got all that other stuff going on. And my the previous video to this. So I explained what I'm doing, where I've been, why I haven't posted a video in almost 2 weeks. But that's almost done. I can get back in here in the shop where I really want to be, working on this car. I enjoy working on this, all the challenges. If you don't like challenges, the car hobby is not for you. The car hobby is also expensive. If you think you're going to build a whole car on a budget, don't expect a lot. Things cost what they cost. Labor costs what it costs. Have a gentleman that I've been talking to about a car, and I think he was kind of suffering some sticker shock. But that's neither here nor there. It's been a long day. I just wanted to show you guys what I'm up to, what's going on, and why I haven't been putting up videos, and the progress that I've made on this. There's a lot of little details here that I know I'm missing. I should show you, but you'll be seeing it as it comes along, and it'll all make sense. So, anyway, guys, that's enough out of me. I'm going home. And I just want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for the support for the channel. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you're not already, it is free, doesn't cost you a thing, and really helps out the channel. And that's enough out of me. We'll see you in the next one.